Happy Friday, Denver. Let's get it in, but let's also be responsible. I'm so happy to be here tonight. Great energy, and actually, I'm happy to be here today with you. You know we are brought to you by Mile High Life, premier place for all your Denver podcasts. There are so many awesome shows on there. Please check it out. Check out our audio. You know, that was the Frikashinas who brought us in. We saw them live in the past. They're doing so many big things within this city. Support them, and I am joined by two fantastic people. Of course, across the table, I got Jon, the Megatron Ekstrom.
What's up, everyone? Happy Friday to everyone. I got an appetite for destruction, but we're going to keep it chill here on Happy Friday, and we're going to bring you the cool news. Back to you, Art.
Thank you so much, and I love the ferocity of destruction, but as long as you're destroying your demons. And I'm also joined by Kevin Gonna Wreck 'em of Batstone.
Happy Friday, Denver. You might see a little slush on the windscreen this morning, but you know what they say. April showers bring May flowers.
And that is a beautiful thing. I am your MC for today's episode, Arthur Raw. We're going to have a great, fun one lined up, and starting us right off, we're talking speed. We're talking about closing down Bandimere.
Yeah, man, this is kind of a bummer. This news broke, last week when Happy Friday dropped. Jon Bandimere came out. The rumor mill's been going around for a long time. These guys had talked about maybe moving this track out east about 10, 12 years ago. They collaborated with Bruton Smith over there at the Motorsports World with NASCAR and talked about building a motorsports complex, but the Aurora voters had shut it down at the time. So a lot of us, drag racing guys and NHRA fans were under the impression that Bandimere's not going anywhere. This track's been around for 65 years now.
That's a long time.
They're going to close it, man. They're going to close it right up there by Red Rocks, up there in Morrison. Man, such a cool drag strip.
Is it because of noise? Is that why?
I don't think that's necessary. I think that's a contributing factor. I don't know if that was the deciding factor. Again, these guys have been talking about moving it. But look, Bandimere's been a staple of racing around these parts for 65 years. It's just incredible. So I'm kind of bummed about it. I am excited to be going to the Mile High Nationals here in July. I think you're coming with me, Art.
Yes.
So we can go see that one last time before they look to move this track. Nothing's set in stone yet, but the idea is to find a new spot of land east of DIA to build a new drag facility.
Yeah. I grew up in Golden and lived in Genesee for a long time. So there were certain nights, depending on the way the winds were blowing and how loud it was, where you could hear Bandimere all the way down in Morrison. Like, just come up the canyon, you could hear it. And there was something oddly comforting about that. And then you could sometimes hear shows from Red Rocks, too, from where I was. You couldn't tell, you couldn't make out songs or anything like that. But it was part of the atmosphere. And while I'm not, a motorsports guy myself, I know what an institution Bandimere is, and a lot of my high school friends would just go do high school drags, which, how cool is that? Just show up in your car and hey, let's see how fast I can drive it in a really safe environment. So it is a loss for the community, and I'm sad that the legacy is over after 65 years.
Yeah, it is kind of sad, and I really do hope that they're able to get a new location to continue these type of festivities, man. When you go to those type of events and you see all the people that are there, how much fun they're having, interacting with each other, they're all having a great time. It's a bummer to end that, and it's also so beautiful sitting there right in the foothills. It's a great place.
Yeah, it's so much fun. It really is. Like I said, I'm a huge racing fan. Shocker. It's like I host another show called Mash the Gas or something. But what I can tell you is,
you?
Yeah, you might have heard of it.
No.
Yeah, it's
never.
out there. Yeah,
it's never come up on this show.
Not once. But I've been to a lot of racetracks around this country, from New England Dragway to Topeka, Denver. I mean, Wild Horse Race Pass down in Phoenix, Arizona. Bandimere is by far my favorite drag racing track in the country.
Wow.
There's just no other track like it. There's just no other track like it. It's built into the side of a mountain.
Yeah, badass.
High altitude. The technology that they have with the cooling, they can actually take the asphalt temperature down with the cooling system they have underneath it. So when it's 97 degrees out in the summer, these cars can actually get a little bit more traction and they're not slipping and sliding. So it's a loss, man. I'm kind of bummed about Bandimere, but I'm optimistic that we're going to build an even better facility out east.
Well, I'm really happy we had a chance to go sit in the media booth up there and observe the track from that angle. What a fun time. I'm looking forward to going once more this year. What an institution. Another institution in Colorado sports, the Colorado Sports Hall of Fame. This one's pretty meaningful to a lot of people. This one's you, Kev.
Yeah, so look, Demaryius Thomas, he's a huge icon around these parts. I mean, just an incredible wide receiver. We saw what he did with the Denver Broncos. Their most winningest time, of course, from 2012 to 2015. They had 2 Super Bowl appearances, so 2 AFC championships, and they won Super Bowl 50, of course. And Demaryius Thomas, who suffered from stage 2 CTE, we lost at a pretty young age. I think he was about 33 at the time. And he's going to be inducted. He's going to be inducted into the Colorado Sports Hall of Fame.
He's got one of the most iconic catches, and certainly probably the signature play for the Tim Tebow era.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That divisional round against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I remember that.
Where there was no safety over the top. He threw it to Demaryius. Demaryius had a huge stiff arm and then took it to the house for an 80-yard score, which was one of the coolest plays, I think, in Broncos history. That'll be something everyone's watching 20 years from now still. Yep. And so, Demaryius Thomas, a very explosive player, very fun. I have a story about Demaryius Thomas.
All right.
So one night, my wife and 3 of her hot MILF friends are all out going to see a movie. They're getting, drinks and apps at this place. This dude comes up, starts hitting on him. It's Demaryius Thomas. My wife is in the middle of a real estate deal because she was a realtor. Mm-hmm. And he goes, "Hey, why are you working on a Friday?" And she goes, "Well, you work on Sundays. Leave me alone." So, which is
that's brilliant.
That's a really great line. But yeah, he was trying to pick up on some MILF ladies, and I go, I like his taste. I mean, shit. How many women can? Well, there's probably plenty. But how many women do you know that can say they were hit on by Demaryius Thomas? My wife is among them.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So anyway, going into the Colorado Sports Hall of Fame,
yeah.
Let's put him in the Cougar Hunting Hall of Fame too.
Yeah, that's terrific.
Because that would be amazing. And then some other people going in, right?
Yep.
We've got one that stood out to me was Vincent Jackson from University of Northern Colorado. Probably the best football player UNC ever put out because he was an all-pro with the Chargers. He was really fantastic. Evie Dennis, who is former vice president of the U.S. Olympic Committee.
Yep, George Karl's going in.
Yeah.
So I mean that's quite a ballad right there going into
cool class, yeah.
The Colorado Sports Hall of Fame. And well deserved too. I mean, obviously you guys know I'm a Patriots guy from New England, but give credit when credit's due, and I've always respected the Denver Broncos and the organization. And Demaryius Thomas, again, just fantastic. He was an amazing wide receiver. What he did for the city.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, man, what these athletes have to go through and what they do in order, and that's what calls them too. That's what's calling them and what they want to pursue. So, RIP, but I feel like it's the all due respect, get them in there, and I think it's the right call. So I'm excited for that one. Also, one cool thing about Colorado, so there's Good Food Awards, and out of 2,000 entries, 15 businesses in Colorado receive accolades from the Good Food Awards, recognizing businesses for making quote-unquote tasty, authentic, and responsible food and drink. I don't know what the "and responsible food and drink" means, but that's literally quoted from that.
I think it's locally sourced and ethically produced.
Is that what responsible means?
I think so. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes there's official designations like you have to do certain practices to be certified organic, right? But responsibly produced, to me, there's whatever this vetting committee has a high degree of ethics in terms of the way you run your business and source your products, is what I'm guessing.
That actually seems like a good answer, because as I was typing this in, I was like, that's interesting how that is. So check out, as we always do, check out the show notes. There's a link there. You can see the full list of these 15 restaurants in Colorado. I personally haven't been to any of them. I took a look at every single one, and I haven't been to any of them. They're all spread across the state, though, so they're all not just in Denver. And if I would to choose one, I would want to try the JoJo's Sriracha down in Pueblo. That sounds delicious.
You can get that here.
You can.
Okay, because it's based in Pueblo, but it's a product. So JoJo's Sriracha is a product, and it's you can buy it at. I'm sure on their website they list where you can get it. I've had it before. It's great.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's really, really good. Of the 15 on there, I'd only had 3. One was JoJo's. I think I even have some in my fridge right now. And then I've been to Ska Brewing, and they're the beer that was listed specifically was Pink Vapor Stew, which is really, really good. But Ska Brewing in Durango, one of the better tap rooms you'll go to. Phenomenal beers there. I saw they had their Ska Fest, and it was Real Big Fish, and the opening act was the Nuns of Brixton, which was this Clash cover band that played in Nun Habits. And then the other one I had on this list was Stem Ciders, and my boy Patrick Combs, who's a former John of All Trades guest, is now one of the guys making stem ciders happen.
Okay.
So stem ciders, great ciders, dude.
I had a feeling you had been to a couple of these.
Yeah,
you got one more, right?
No, that's it.
Oh, that was all 3.
I've only been to one. The only one I've been on here was the Pagosa Brewing and Grill. When I was out in Pagosa Springs, in the grocery biz back in the day, I was on the road, so we were remodeling a city market out there.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, "Man, you gotta go check this place out."
I've been to that city market.
Have you?
Oh,
Right
yeah.
in Pagosa, yeah.
Yeah, I had vacationed in Pagosa before.
It's a beautiful town.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely gorgeous
Lovely.
town for sure. But I went over to this place. Man, what stood out to me was it was kind of one of those venues where you go and they have like T-shirts and mugs about that represent the actual
Right.
place that you're at. But their outdoor patio seating was fantastic. It was massive. It was more of like you'd go get your drinks inside and then you would take them outside. And I really enjoyed the food and drinks out there.
Oh God, aren't you guys happy though that it's turning into patio weather? Like it's time to start hanging outside and drinking beers and stuff.
Gee whiz, Art, have I only spent the last fucking how many months bitching about winter?
Can't we just celebrate it a little bit?
Hell yeah, dude! Like
this is the best part of the year. This is the best part.
This is the best part.
It is.
What can you say?
It's a happy time of the year. I love spring. I'm super excited, and I would like to go check out some of these places and enjoy the good food. A really cool venue that I've been to multiple times. They are opening a new location, number 38.
Yeah, that's right. I've only been there one time, Art, and I really did enjoy the number 38 down there. I think it's off Wine Coop, I think is
in Rhino.
Rhino. It's close to the Mission Ballroom, so we went down there for a visit. Had some boiled peanuts. They have so many beers on tap, which is fantastic. A lot of good food, but you got to wait in line for it. I enjoyed my experience there. We've kind of heard the riffraff about the 38, and the folks that live in that surrounding areas have complained about noise a lot. They had a lot of noise complaints when they first opened, and they battled that, and then they had to refile for their cabaret license, and they've been through the ringer. But here's the deal. These guys are going to be expanding to a second location. They're going to be opening up a new spot. I don't know how big the current one is, but this proposed idea is an 8,500 square foot spot, and it's going to be out there in Littleton. So I think it's pretty cool, man. I like the vibes of that place, and I think it's going to do well out in Littleton.
I think if they put it near Angelo's out there and like that other brewery off of Santa Fe, like there's that one little section over there, I feel like they could get away with, kind of partying up and not disturbing too many people out there. One thing I like about the 38 is how, you put your card in and they give you the bracelet and then you just kind of walk around and scan it.
Yep.
But
wow.
my question is, like, when you go to throw that bracelet out, like, you have to make sure you throw it out in, like, a specific area so no one can, like, go pick it up. And
then charge your
shit.
Yeah,
and then start running it. So I was, like, all sketched out about that when we were leaving. Like, I got to make sure this bracelet is demolished properly. Destroyed.
Yeah. Destroyed. Destruction. Appetite for destruction.
Fire.
I've never been to this fucking place, but here's the thing. I see so many cool events happening there that I'm like, I got to get down there.
It's cool.
But, like, the hard thing for me is it's hard to get in new places sometimes just because, I got young kids. We dragged them out to, we saw a band called All Waffle Trek last weekend, though, at Mockery Brewing's anniversary, which was really fun. And so Grace counts that as her first concert now.
Oh, really?
And then
That's fun.
got skeezed out when the drummer took off his shirt. She's like, "Oh, his shirt's off."
Did they do a little moshing?
Oh yeah,
Little
dude, they
impromptu
created their
moshing?
own mosh pit.
That's fantastic.
I'll show you the video once we're done. It's phenomenal.
That's awesome.
I love that.
So, speaking of music,
No, I love it, John. I love that you're taking your kids out, showing the music, getting it going, starting these experiences early.
sorry, there was a dead spot there and I freaked out.
I know it was
I'm
quite
like-
it was endearing.
Was that planned?
No,
He
but-
just fucking stared at me. And I'm like, I guess I'll go to the next segment. Speaking of music,
Yeah,
the
it's-
end of the music business.
Yeah, what's going
right?
on with that? Hey, that's a decent segue, but you're not the MC tonight, John.
Yeah, well, put that fucking camera on me. I'm going to do this segment anyway. So there was an article in The Nation by from a jazz musician who said the real music business lasted from 1903 to 2003, so roughly 100 years. And if you think about it, you had the rise of record labels. You had the evolution of technology from LPs, putting things on wax to cassettes to 8-tracks to CDs
Cassettes.
and then to streaming. And then once streaming set in, kind of the music business as we knew it no longer existed. So this is kind of a long read. Really, really cool, though. Great stuff in there about how we consume music and how maybe, like, believe me, I'm not shedding any tears for the loss of the music industry. It seemed like it was filled with terrible people who lived on a diet of exploitation and money. Right? Like, that seemed to be their whole reason for existence. So fuck them. Like, just, they're not worth the powder to blow them up. But there are some other consequences to that too, right? Because how are artists fucking making money? And so I think about an interview I did with a guy named Frankie Nardiello, who also goes by the stage name Groovy Man.
Oh, that's tight.
That's a cool name.
Who is the lead singer of My Life with a Thrill Kill Cult, like this cool industrial band. But he said the reason you make a new album is so that you can go on tour. And the reason you go on tour is so you can sell some fucking T-shirts, and that's the only way to make money. I go, wait a minute, so is every band now just kind of in the T-shirt business? He goes, yeah, that's pretty much what it is, which is probably why I buy so many goddamn band T-shirts. So I was curious. I don't know how much you guys read this article, but what do you guys do to support the artists you love? Because, I mean, I have subscriptions to Apple Music. I try and buy shit on iTunes, but it doesn't feel like enough sometimes.
Yeah.
What do you guys do?
I think there's a couple ways to go about it. I mean, obviously the easiest one, like you said, T-shirt, merchandise, buying physical copies, vinyls, things like that. But more importantly, just showing up to live events, right?
Yeah.
Going to concerts, supporting the music, live action. And, another cool thing you can do is, a lot of these musicians have their music in all the stream services. So if you make a post on social media, you can include like that song to play over a post or something.
Oh.
So there's like simple things you can do that cost you $0 that still help promote the music that you're into, of course. But I think the best way is just merchandise and showing up, showing out.
Totally.
Yeah, totally. For me, the one is going to the actual show and rocking out with them and having a good time. I would give more credit to my older brother for purchasing merchandise and like clothing and articles. Like I don't think I own any musical other than
I'm wearing one right now.
other than Sarah Christine, but she just hooked it up with that shirt.
Yeah.
So the thing I'm doing the most, and I guess I could do more for my musicians out there. I'm sorry, but I'll show up and I'll buy a ticket and I'll have a great time at your show, and then also promote it on the platforms that we have, because I always like to go, when we go to shows, it's kind of like I got to work there too, right? So I'll take a video, I'll make sure to tag everybody that's there and drive as much traffic as I possibly can to their social media platforms.
Dude, that's what we did for All Waffle Trick. When we saw them, I'm like, hey, I'm down here at Mockery Brewing. All Waffle Trick is playing. It's killer. Here's some videos of my kids creating their own ad hoc mosh pit with these two other little girls who are there. Fucking amazing. But like this shirt I bought, it was during the pandemic because they did like one of those live stream shows, and you could buy the stream and then you could like bundle a shirt with it. So I go, yeah, fucking A, I'll bundle a shirt with it.
It's Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's less than Jake.
It looks like Guns N' Roses.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Hence the Appetite for Destruction, right?
Yeah, and then this, what does this say? Silver Linings 2020.
Love it.
So anyway, yeah, great shit. That's
the way to support them.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Okay, in my estimation, sorry, I'm doing another segue.
No, I was about to do it.
Okay, do it then.
But yours might have been good.
We'll never know.
I was going to say, sticking on music, but also on a old topic that we've covered plenty of times, AI, some AI made music.
Yeah, dude. So, okay. There's a band, let's call it, out there called AISIS. Okay? It is a resurrected Oasis. Basically, you had a guy named Bobby Garrity, who said, we just got bored waiting for Oasis to reform. Okay? Maybe move on. There's a lot of other bands out there. So we got an AI-modeled Liam to step in on some tunes that were originally written for a short-lived but much-loved band called Breezer. Breezer is his sort of Oasis-inspired band. And they realized using AI and feeding it a bunch of, like, acoustic tracks and shit, like a cappella tracks from Liam Gallagher, they could create a reasonable facsimile of what Oasis music might sound like. Mm-hmm. And it's out there, and I've listened to it. And here's the thing. Okay, I have a lot of thoughts about this. But
tell us what's on your mind.
We'll get there. Here's why I'm not mad at this. Okay, let's start there.
Okay.
The fact that this guy wrote like lyrics and wrote music and all that, like that's human created. And then basically use the AI to recreate how Liam Gallagher would sing it. Okay, that's about as much as I'm going to allow in terms of my personal taste. Fucking robots to influence my music. Because all this AI created art, I am not into. I'm really, really upset about it, as it turns out. And so this is about as close as I'll go. And I listened to it. You guys didn't listen to it, right?
Did not have a chance to listen to it, and
No.
you said that was probably a good thing.
And that's fine because, like, are you familiar with the concept of the Uncanny Valley? The Uncanny Valley is when your brain is fucked up when you're looking at something and it's, like, supposed to be human, but it's too fake for your brain to accept it. So there's tension in your brain when you're looking at something that's in the Uncanny Valley.
Huh.
This AISIS shit is in the Uncanny Valley for me. I'm like, yeah, it kind of sounds like Liam Gallagher, but it's kind of also airless because it's sung by a fucking fake ghost robot.
Yeah.
That like kind of takes all the air out of the room. And so I'm too aware of it to where I'm like, no, I fucking hate this, as it turns out. It's perfectly like cromulent music. It's like you go, okay, like I get it. This is like well written and well executed, but there's part of my soul that just revolts against it, and I fucking hate it. I hate it so much.
Yeah, I'm going to have to tend to agree with you there. And I remember when like EDM music first started becoming real popular, which is now just a massive category in the music industry. A lot of, true musicians that actually play instruments and actually sing into the mic and do those things, old school, were very like, man, fuck that. Yeah. You're cheating the system. You're sitting there hitting a button that's making the noise. You're not actually making, somebody else made that noise.
Right.
So I think that's the takeaway I get from it. It's just it's another chapter in the evolution of where music's going. But it's ridiculous. I mean, it goes to show you with the chat GBT or PT, whatever the hell it is.
Yeah, dude. Fuck Chat GPT.
Well, yeah, that shit. Now we got it in on our music. I mean, man, we're getting closer and closer to Cyberdyne Systems Model 101.
I can support AI in certain areas, but as far as intellectual property and creative property, all that sort of stuff, it really is taking away this human element. And even with Chat GPT and being able to code for people and write essays and all this other stuff, like, if you're thinking long term, right? If you're thinking 20 years even, like we haven't even had smartphones that long, really. And so it's like, what is that doing to people? How is that affecting the population? And we talk about mental health frequently on here and this and that, but I feel like overall AI is going to reduce the amount of creative ability that humans have in the long run. And it's like that Wall-E shit, like where you just have people.
I was just thinking about the movie Wall-E.
Yeah.
Literally, dude.
Yeah.
As you said that, I'm like, we're all turning into those fat fucking lumps.
Yes, from Wall-E.
Yeah, like just getting pushed around in our chairs, like mindlessly jabbering at each other into a screen.
Yeah, and it's like, and then once they're set free, once they fall out of the chairs, right? And then all that stuff happens. So that's my biggest concern with it is what's the dependency, and then also it's like there was like an AI created a female that was like selling nudes, right, on Reddit, and people were buying this AI generated female's nudes, and it's just like you can't believe anything that you see online nowadays. Like unless if I see it in person in front of me, then I'm not gonna believe it.
So the biggest irony for me, this is what's fucking me up about this, right? We invent machines and we invent robots to make our lives easier, right? It's nice that the garbage truck comes down the street and picks up like your garbage can and then just dumps it in the back of the truck. So there isn't a guy who has to ride on the back and throw his back out hauling fucking cans in there, right? That's machining that helps make your life easier. We do that so we have more time to explore ourselves as humans, right? Where we have time to create art and connect with each other. And now we're using the machines to create the fucking art.
Like even the AI art and stuff, it's so abstract and weird looking. Like, I don't know.
You go,
can't do hands.
What the fuck, man? Like, is this not why we're here to be creatively fulfilled and now we're outsourcing that creative fulfillment too? Man, fuck that all the way. Fuck it into the sun. No way, dude. Oh, man, I don't like it.
I'm not a fan. No, I'm not a fan. It's just getting too out of hand. Like I said, I mean, what's next, right? Our music's been taken over. People don't even have to think right anymore. Everything is AI right now. And again, I'm a Terminator guy, but man, we're headed down that road.
Yeah, I think we're headed more towards Wall-E than we are Terminator.
Yeah, I mean, once
destroying the Earth and all that. Yeah.
Once AI can really self-learn and teach itself things, right, and continue to adapt amongst that, like it's given a task, vacuum the floor, take this to there. Once it can teach itself to do other shit, we're fucked.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to fuck us for sure. And hopefully there's like some kill switches on that stuff. And look, happy Friday listeners and viewers. We're going to keep talking AI as these episodes progress. I know this is not the end of this subject. Moving along, though, Denver is set to add more than 100 new police officers. And I know this is quite a jump from subjects, but it's interesting to think about, because the departments have been having a hard time retaining officers. There's less police officers or people who want to become cadets than officers. And so there's a major shortage. So the city of Denver is looking to add over 100 new positions, which I support. Is the only problem with anything is that it's corrupt from the top down always. So there's, that's the thing with police. Like, I feel like they are necessary, but a couple bad apples spoiled a bunch. To not get too far into that whole conversation, though, some kids want to just grow up. They want to grow up and be a police officer. Like, that's what they think of when they're a little kid. So it got me thinking, what did y'all want to do when you were kids growing up? Like, what was your dream job as a kid?
Well, I think we all know mine. I wanted to be a meteorologist. So
I was gonna say, like, you had to have a secondary.
I mean, that was my mission as a kid, man. That was it. I wanted to be the weather guy.
I wanted to play third base for the Chicago Cubs. Like, that's what I thought I was going to be. Cubs growing up didn't have any good third basemen. I could fill that role nicely. Because, like, early on, I was the kid who could throw it from third to first with, accurately and hard enough to actually get runners out. Mm-hmm. Because, like, that's what every T-ball coach on earth teaches you to do, right, is hit it down to third. But I kind of fucked up all their plans because I could throw it.
Yep.
And so I'm like, no, I'm going to be third base for the Chicago Cubs. I can tell you I didn't want to be any cop. Because like that job seems impossible in many ways, and it runs so counter to the way I want to live my life, which is, I agree that like rules and enforcement of those rules is necessary for a civil society to a certain extent. Please don't make me be the one who fucking has to enforce it. Like, there were kids growing up who always wanted to be like hall monitor and shit. Yeah. And I go, no, like, hard pass. I don't want to like bust people for doing something wrong. That is just not who I am. I respect what police do. I have some, like you mentioned, I have some issues with the way the police do their jobs and maybe the way they're trained to do their jobs. But we don't need to make that a whole thing right now.
Yeah.
Suffice to say, I hope we think carefully about how we're policing ourselves in the future. And secondly, I hope that once we have that good conversation, the department gets what it needs.
Yeah, it's necessary. You have to have, folks there to protect and to serve. There's always going to be discrepancies. I don't care if it's a small town. I don't care if it's Denver, right? That's going to happen. I had a lot of friends, growing up that wanted to do that. I have friends that are doing that. It's certainly not something I would want to go into for a couple of reasons. One, it doesn't pay great, and you're out there risking your life every single day. These guys, they truly are.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Look, these guys are heroes. I mean, they're there to protect and serve. It's amazing. You can call 911. They're going to come. That's what it is. And look, Denver's grown a lot. A lot of folks don't want to take on this position. So, I tip my hat to the ones that do. It's not for me.
Yeah. Respect to the officers of the law and also fire department, paramedics, everybody that's out there helping people and doing their best to make the society better. Quick note here. If I were to have become a police officer when I was younger, I would have probably been a corrupt one. So that's something that
Thanks for being so honest, Art.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Knowing how I was in my 20s and stuff, yes, I would have probably really been in the gray area.
Very honest.
Well,
answer.
dude, here's the thing, too. I think because the pay isn't great, like the draw for some, and I have a friend who's a federal agent, and he said one of the problems with local cops is when it doesn't pay well, what are the other reasons that someone is going to want to join the police force, right? And he goes, it's probably because they give you a gun and you can push people around.
Yeah.
He's like, that's not great, Bob.
No.
Right? So
that's not great, Bob.
Yeah, not great. So to that end, it's like that's kind of one of the problems. So how do we resource this? How do we couch it correctly? How do we we're trying to have a society here. How do we all push in the right direction correctly? Very tough.
Yeah, you're right. Man. You're right.
It is tough out there. So our next article here was actually a really interesting one. And yes, we are in the tornado season for the state of Colorado. It lasts from as long as from February to as long as the end of October. So that's a really long time. We don't really see too many tornadoes in Colorado. There's about 53 on average that touch down per year, mainly in the eastern plains of the state.
There was one just this week.
Sense.
There was.
Out in Keansburg.
Yep, in Keansburg. You're right.
Okay, so we're talking the deadliest tornado to ever hit Colorado on record. So this.
Congratulations to this tornado.
Okay. So on August 10th.
I fucked him up.
Because people died here.
Yeah, well, okay.
So August 10th,
it was 1924, man, okay?
1924. Yeah, they would probably...
It was 99 years ago.
They would be dead regardless now.
I think we can safely joke about this, bro. Like, too soon. Art's telling me too soon.
There were children involved, John.
I agree it's tragic, but let's take a little more of an abstract view here.
Yeah, no, that was fun. I was not quite flat-footed, though, as you deem to say occasionally. So, yeah, this was in 1924, Thurman, Colorado.
Too soon.
So with this, it hit a farm where people were sheltering. There's about 27 people there. Out of that, 11 people were killed, 9 of which were children. So that's pretty crazy. I've seen a couple of tornadoes in Colorado.
At least they had Netflix at that time.
No, John, stop. Have you ever seen a tornado in person?
No, only the Texas tornado, Kerry Von Erich, who wrestled for the WWF in the early 90s.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
How
He
about
was
you,
awesome.
Kev?
Yeah, so I've seen a couple tornadoes. Being a weather nerd that I am, I did a little storm chasing for a little while, especially when I first got out here, because up in New England, tornadoes, they're very rare. So out here, you have a better chance of seeing one. So coming through Kansas, I didn't see one actually hit the ground. I did see a funnel cloud just west of Salina, Kansas, which was very alarming. And then I actually chased one with our buddy Mark. We went out east to Byers. I think it was Byers. And you could see all the storm chasers were out. They were lined up. They had their cameras. They had all this shit. It felt like it was like off the movie set of Twister.
Twister, yeah.
But it never. You could see the thunderhead low. You could see it coming. It was twirling. It never quite made contact with the ground. So did I see a twister? Not necessarily, because it has to touch the ground, But I saw it get real close out east here in Byers.
Yeah, I saw one from my mom's backyard once, and then I believe from Eastern Parker, I saw one once as well. So pretty crazy, very intimidating when those things are roaring. And actually, when I was a little kid in Park Hill in 87, I think it was either 87 or 88, there was a massive twister that came through and ripped down a shit ton of trees and like knocked out the power. And I got all these pictures of when I was a little toddler and stuff. My mom's holding me next to all these fallen trees. So they're here in Colorado. Just find a safe place if that happens. But April is coming to a conclusion. May is upon us.
Thank God, right? So we're turning the calendar here. This episode airs on 4/28. Sunday will be April 30th, and then we're in May.
Mm-hmm.
I fucking love where we are because like everything is pointing up right now. Like literally, to quote The Simpsons, everything's coming up Millhouse because April's ending, then there's May, and then you know what's behind that? June. Then after that, July. Fuck yeah, then we're in summer. What a fucking time to be alive. So I wanted to ask you guys, what are you looking forward to in May?
Well, May is just a fantastic time of year because the snow's pretty much behind us. We might see some bullshit. Like I said in my opening,
it's well stated, by the way.
Yeah.
Anytime there's snow, it's going to be slushy. It's going to be like getting dumped on by like a gray Slurpee.
It's going to break all the tree limbs.
Yeah.
And that's what happens. I mean, when I first moved here, I remember folks telling me, because I wasn't really used to the weather patterns. They're like, man, you're not out of the woods until it's like Mother's Day. I remember folks telling me when it comes to snow. I'm like, what? And I remember seeing it live action. I remember seeing it. It snowed. I think the latest I've seen it snow here was like May 10th, May 11th, something like that.
I saw it snow in June a couple of times.
I've heard that.
Fuck.
I've heard that from some of the natives around these
Feels like
parts.
such a cheat, man. Like and what a cheap shot.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, dude, it's summer. Snow, fucker. And you go, God damn it, what happened?
It's a tease.
I find it a little beautiful, John, because it's just, you get this extra little taste of something that quenches the thirst that is upon us in the dry, hot, arid summer that Colorado's do offer.
I'd rather see it rain.
I have two things to say in response to that. One, I'm happy for you. Secondly, fuck you.
I said that intentionally for the second comment.
I figured as much.
I wanted that.
Yeah, no, I could tell. I'm fulfilling my half of the equation there.
No, and honestly, no one wants snow when it's spring and stuff. I love the rain. I love that we had some rain this week. It was a lot of fun. Things going on this weekend.
Well, no, the biggest thing, I love about May is when Justin Timberlake reemerges from his winter slumber. And he shows up doing that NSYNC song, and he's just like, "It's gonna be May."
I saw a meme about that, and it took me a minute. Like in just a few weeks, it'll be. And I saw a picture of JT,
like with his head
yep.
out, like yeah.
Yep. And now I know what that meme was.
Yeah, it's gonna be May.
I've never seen that meme. This is two memes that you've mentioned in front of me tonight that I have not seen.
That's a double meme.
That's what I do, man.
Wow. Looking cool with the shades,
me
man.
with my dank memes, bro. I bring the dank memes to the weekend.
So yeah, for May, I'm just gonna keep on doing what I've been doing, and that's enjoying the present, loving life, living it, exquisite. Yes, the Nuggets.
They advanced, baby.
They're moving on. They're playing the Suns.
They stuffed Rudy Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns, two of my least favorite players in the entire league, just right into the toilet. It was phenomenal. 4-1. It's a gentleman's sweep. They're going on to play the fucking Phoenix Suns, who has one of my least favorite basketball players of all time. Do you want to guess?
No.
Chris Paul.
Ah, okay.
So
I guess I could have guessed that.
Yeah, Chris Paul, don't like him as a player. I hope the Nuggets absolutely curb stomp the Suns. The Avs are down 3-2 against Seattle. This is a tough series.
I don't have a good feeling about the Avs. I will say that. After the loss 2 nights ago, man, it's all on. It's in Seattle tonight. Seattle could take it. They could take it.
Their depth is ravaged. Like the Avs' depth is ravaged, and Seattle's a deep team, man.
They're playing aggressive.
They're all my hat is off to them. Here's the thing: I'm giving the Avs the benefit of the doubt until I see them exit these playoffs. They still, for me, I think they're going to win every game. They're the defending Cup champions.
Absolutely.
Never count them out. So, but it's been a tough series.
It's been a very tough series, and I got to tip my hat to Seattle. I'm not a fan of the Kraken, of course, but man, these guys came to play. And look, it doesn't get any easier from here because whoever wins this series, John, has to play the winner of the Stars and the Wild.
Yeah, and I hate both those teams.
I do
so
too.
much.
I do too.
So much.
It's an uphill battle either way.
Yeah.
But that's the playoffs. You got to earn. It's just not easy.
Both those teams can get fucked with a rake, though. So, anyway, a lot of sports going on here. What else we got going?
Bluebird Music Festival, that's on Saturday from 2 p.m. to 11 p.m. in Boulder. It's the 5th year in a row this thing has been running, and it sounds like they have a really fun Strings and Stories event during the afternoon, so definitely go check that out.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. And and if you're mood for a hot dog or some good old fun, you can watch the Rockies play the douchebags. I'm sorry, the Diamondbacks. Yep, they're in town.
The D-bags,
yes. Yes. They're in town here on Sunday the 30th. Get out there and get a hot dog and a cold beer.
If hot dogs ain't your thing, get a burger at In-N-Out Burger, which is opening its first actual Denver proper location in Central Park. That is today, so
it's going to be slam jammed. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, no shit. Also, two other things that we will not be watching: the NFL draft. That is happening. If that's your thing, what the fuck? Why? But also, I hope you enjoy it. And then also just wanted to give one last shout out, R.I.P. Jerry Springer.
Yes.
So
really, I didn't know that.
He died.
Yep.
He died yesterday.
Oh crap!
And so
79, died of cancer.
And former mayor of Cincinnati.
That's
also,
right.
I was in high school when his talk show was the shit. When everyone was watching it. So
that show was wild.
Yeah, I even rented from Blockbuster on VHS. Too hot for TV, Jerry Springer.
Talk about American hot dumpster trash.
Yeah.
I mean, look, anytime, you stayed home in the 90s as a kid, you watched Jerry Springer and you watched The Price is Right.
Yeah, Price is Right at 10 a.m.
Yep.
And Jerry Springer, what, 3?
Something
4?
like that. That was, when you stayed home, that was your sick remedy.
Fuck yeah.
Jerry Springer. Well, we are your remedy, bringing in the weekend. Happy Friday, Denver. So happy to spend some time with you. Check us out on all the social medias. That's at Happy Friday Den, D-E-N, Happy Friday Denver, gmail.com if you want to reach out to us. Support Mile High Life, all the other epic podcasts on the network. Bring it in, Fricashinas.